welcome to Through the Mist with me, your host Owen. This is a Void and Verse Theory podcast where we look at the law and try and understand how it all works. In this episode, we'll be looking at the climbing wall. Mythbusters! What up? Woo! Mythbusters in the house! Woot, woot, woot! Hey, 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 hey! Hey! Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's go! Let's go! Hi, buddy! Hi, everybody! Everybody! Hello, hello, hello. Itch, scratch. So, hi. Welcome back to this podcast that you listen to, called Through the Mist. You can find us at Through the Mist, at Through Mist on Instagrams and Threads if you just so happen to, or you can email through.t.mist@gmail.com. But saying, hang on, I think I've turned this down slightly. Boop. Gain. That's gonna do horrendous things for editing Owen later. Let's pump up the gain. Ooh, God. No, I dropped that game back down. Jeez. No, if I go, ready. So I'm just going to make a single note and it's going to be held. I'm just going to slowly change the gain on the microphone. Ready? I did nothing except dial the gain switch. I didn't make myself louder. That is what you got. It wasn't a very good held note. There was. It wasn't just like, ooh, ooh, ah, I should have done an R sound. That would have been much better. We are now gonna do our Gregorian chant. The rest of this episode will be in Gregorian chant. No, it won't. That would be horrendous for all involved, including myself. That was not the right notes. Don't care. Why did I do that? What? Why did I think drinking the water silly would be funny? It doesn't even make a good noise. Oh, I've got to take a proper sip now. Oof. Now, you may be thinking, oh, why are you spending so much time talking about nonsense? Don't you usually have a question to answer? Yes, I do. However, I didn't put one out. Oh, no. Owen, why didn't you put one out? Why didn't you do that? Doing the podcast socials have been overwhelming lately, and I barely do it. But just having to come up with a question lately, I've never finished an episode with a clear question lately, and I couldn't be bothered for the show episode. I couldn't be bothered. Just couldn't be bothered. And I was like, you know what? It was just the effort to come up with a decent question that could actually be responded to. That just wasn't, how was the show? I was like, nah, I'm not doing it. I can't bother. Not this time. So, I'll try and post it, something, but, the questions may start falling by the wayside just purely because I am becoming more lazy. Yay, lazy. And don't get Sporticus on me, I'm not that lazy. I still I climb. I do climbing. Oh my God, did you know I climb fake plastic rocks? Well, I boulder, technically. If we want to get official with it, I boulder. I don't really do much lead climbing. Or any belay climbing. I've never done lead, actually. Lead scares the absolute pants off me. Do not do lead, thank you. I've no idea if I've kept that in. If I have, do you know what? I've kept that in. Actually, I've decided this second I've kept that in. Climbing. I've mentioned that I do climbing. And that's just it. There's no real reason. There's absolutely nothing to do with this episode whatsoever. I lied. It has everything to do with this episode. You didn't know that because at the start, 1, I shouted it's about the climbing wall, and 2, it is literally the episode of this title. The climbing wall is the episode of this title. Oh my giddy aunt. The title of this episode. There we go. I said it correctly. The rest of you can now screw off. The rest of you, I don't know who the rest of you are, just not the Mythbusters, clearly. If you're not a Mythbuster, screw off, basically. And just to be clear, what defines you as a Mythbuster is you've just listened to you just listened to an episode. So, you listening right now makes you a Mythbuster. So just anyone that isn't a Mythbuster just can screw off for me absolutely fudging up words. Anyway, let's get to the point. Camp Half-Blood's infamous climbing wall. It has lava. I think about this a surprising amount, considering after researching this, actually how much it does turn up in the books, which is not much. It's just kind of referenced as the thing that exists. But I often think about how one would climb this wall. I said one unironically. Ew. Stop me from doing that again. That was disgusting. Ugh. How you would climb said wall. Said wall's fine, I don't care. But one, unironically using the word one to describe yourself. Geez, Owen, calm down. Let's not. Moving on. The wall. I think about this often and how it just works and how mechanically it works and how you could climb the wall and how the mechanics of the wall would mean the climbing of the wall. So as most episodes, this episode, but specifically this one is very much just an excuse for me to sit down and try to understand actually how this thing can work in the real world. Or maybe not the real world, the fictional real world, as we do in this show. So, where do we start? We start with quotes. I found all the quotes that I could that described the climbing wall and just wasn't, oh, yeah, is that Nico, the obvious one is Nick, there's a quote, as Nico is there's a climb wall. Percy goes, yeah, there's a climb wall. And it's why is there lava? And it's French difficulty. I don't care. We already know there's lava. We're moving on. There's just things, okay? Okay, so let's run through these Un Die Tri Pedwar Pimp 5 quotes that we have. And calm. These are just from the Pojo books. I couldn't be bothered to search the Who books. It's just the Pojo ones. Anyway, the climbing wall, which actually consists of two facing walls that shook violently, dropped boulders, and sprayed lava. And I said an and too early. I assumed the rules of three. We restart. The climbing wall, which actually considered, I can't read that word either. The climbing wall, which actually consisted of two facing walls that shook violently, dropping boulders, sprayed lava, and clashed together if you didn't get to the top fast enough. That's Percy describing what the climbing wall is in the first book. Moving on. Friday afternoon, I was sitting with Grover at the lake, resting from a near-death experience on the climbing wall. Grover had scrambled to the top like a mountain goat, but the lava had almost got me. My shirt had smoking holes in it. The hairs had been singed off my forearms. Quote number 3. I scaled the climbing wall in full lava and earthquake mode. Short and sweet. And quote number Pedwar. The climbing wall poured lava and rumbled all by itself. Oh, yes, another short, sweet one. And finally, the pimp quote. I don't know what fifth is in Welsh, so I just said the word 5. You should see what I'm doing with my hands right now. It's really helped me concentrate on the words. To my left, the canoe lake glittered, and the climbing wall glowed from the lava pouring down its side. That was way too difficult, mate. As much as I think being a voice actor would be so much fun, I would struggle so much reading the actual words on the bit of paper in front of me. Oh my god, never. If anyone's thinking about it, I'm telling you right now, don't get me to read your audiobook. The reading part of that, where I would have to read it out loud, would go terribly. Telling you right now, get someone, like, obviously don't get me, I'm not a professional VA anyway, but like, get someone that like does in that world, you know, like, but anyway, quotes, you've talked about them. So what is this all mean? What do we get from these quotes? The walls, what are they? Well, we've learned that they are very complicated. Basically, very complicated. They've got spraying lava, they've got dropping boulders, they smash together. Like, how does that all work? So, let's start with the walls themselves. And I say walls instead of singular because, as we did learn, it's actually two walls that face each other. So, how I'm imagining these walls is they're separated by like 4 or 5 meters, which is approximately 13 to 16 feet for you imperial bros out there. So, like, it's just enough space, really, where you shouldn't, like, get too rubbing up against each other or getting each other's way. Because I'm imagining, like, you had 2 people that start climbing at once, and it's a bit like a race, because, you know, everything's a competition. Like when Grover and Percy did it, Grover climbed one wall, Percy climbed the other wall. It would be a whole thing. Yeah, so they would allow people to climb the race without getting away too much. I think 4 or 5 meters is probably about where we want to be. Otherwise, I think it gets a bit too close for comfort while climbing itself. And really, the most important thing is how blooming tall are these walls? Like, how tall are these walls? And put it bluntly, did you find any height references in those quotes? Because I didn't. I didn't hear a single thing about how high these walls are, except that you can see them from kind of everywhere. So they're tall, you know, they're tall structures. But we do know that the reason the walls exist, like, they exist to ensure that a camper can scale large objects quickly when on a quest or in battle. Like, that is the function of the walls. And, like, let's just remember, even though Camp Half-Blood isn't explicitly training them in the same way Camp Jupiter does, every activity that Chiron has created is to help these campers survive and both fight as a unit and independently. Like, this is a training camp. Like, just a really, like, the most fun training camp you've ever been to, but a training camp nonetheless. So that means, with that in mind, like, I think, like, a minimum 10 meter walls, you know, which is about 32 feet, which may not, like, when you think about that linearly, like on the ground, you're like, 10 meters is nothing. But 10 meters up is so much worse. Vertical lengths versus horizontal lengths. Just the perception between the two needs to be studied. Probably is already studied. But it is like 10 meters horizontally is nothing compared to 10 meters vertically. Absolutely nothing. And then when I thought about the height of these walls, and this is part of the thing I've been thinking about when I've been thinking about this and how this works mechanically and all this generic, boring Owen stuff, is like, are they roped in? How do the ropes work on this? Are they, like, and I'm like, well, I'm sure Chiron wouldn't consider they need ropes. But then I was like, yeah, Chiron probably doesn't care about the health and safety. He's throwing lava down, boulders down the wall. Like, the health and safety doesn't exist. What is health and safety? Who are the HSE? You know, all that sort of stuff. But, like, at the same time, if they don't have ropes, how do they get down? But if they do have ropes, wouldn't the lava burn the ropes? But magic! Like, so, not a problem. They can, like, have celestial bronze ropes or something. Or, like, ropes imbued with celestial bronze magic. I don't know. But, like, no problem. I've got a very bobby head right now. So, yeah, basically, I'm saying minimum 10 meters high, 32 feet, and, like, probably absolute max 20 meters, you know, which would be, what, 30, 64 feet, approx. But that's ridiculous. 20 meters up is ridiculous, just to be clear. Actually, 5 meters up is ridiculous. I don't know why I've said 10 meters up. They're probably only 5 meters up. No. Then 5 meters is too close to a bouldering wall. And, like, I do think these are, like, proper, like, rope climbing walls. Like, proper, like, either lead climbs or, like, belayed climbed walls, you know? Which means you need the ropes. And you need the ropes, because otherwise how do they get down from those heights? Because you get very tired when you get that high, unless they've got stairs at the back. But I don't think Chiron would care about ropes existing, you know? Anyway, that's my thoughts. And that is purely vibes based. Purely vibes based. 10 meters up, I'm saying it. Calling it now. So, now we're in the big time. How does this work? How do the mechanics of this work? How the hell does it smash together? Does it spray lava? And does it drop boulders? What do you mean? This is cray-cray. So let's start firstly with the smashing. I think smash is probably an overstatement. Like, there's definitely... this climbing wall has an earthquake mode, which means it must somewhere in the system have hydraulics. They've got to shake the wall, therefore hydraulics. And why not some of these hydraulics just doing the horizontal movement? Oh, I've got pins and needles in my foot. I just got to de-pin a needle in my feet. Oh, I get pins and needles so often. But I really like sitting cross-legged, but it really, gives me pins and needles when I sit cross-legged. You know? Like, if I uncross my legs, the blood flow back in, just, really pins and needles me up. But I love myself a little cross-legged sit. So I don't know what to do. Is it cross-legged? Or cross-legged is just cross-legged, in it? Cross-legged. Yeah, I'm just saying the ED very separated. Where was I? Oh, how the things are moving. Well, so, if I think they're about 4 meters apart, to, get squish, if you squish them in, to probably 1 or 2, probably 2 meters apart, which would be 1 to 2 meters is between 3 and 6 foot, which is it's quite a big movement. That's a very for hydraulics and a climbing wall like that. That's a ridiculous vertical push in. Moving that distance is really quite something. But I feel and at speed as well. Oh, that is that's the other thing. Hephaestus campers must have their absolute stuff together, because pulling out the stops to make all this stuff work must be crazy. But if it reduces to that gap, you would start to if you leant back, you would feel how close the other wall is to you. If someone was at the same height as you, you would be bumping into each other. You would be getting in each other's way quite quickly. So yeah, I think I don't think they actually touch each other, because I can't make that work in my head without destroying the walls. And we can't destroy the walls. So I think they just come quite close together. Not extremely close, but quite close. And then if you put earthquake mode on top of that, and have the smashing hydraulics, and also some vertical hydraulic positionings that do some fancy things. I'm picturing now one of these flight sim / roller coaster sim things that you get on back of lorries. Where they go and it makes you feel like you're going up and down and upside down, but they're just going if you the red arrow, you know what I mean. I'm sure you've seen them around. But for the climbing wall, if you're squishing them into 1 to 3 meters and then you change the angle of that wall, even a 1 degree angle, 10 meters up, that would be, I can't be bothered to do trigonometry right now, but that could at least be at least 10 mil minimum. Now I've got to find out, why am I doing trigonometry? Let me get my calculator. I can do this with a calculator. Sine opposite. No, I want tan. Sorry. Opposite adjacent. So, I know. Tan is so T O over A, which should be tan times. Yeah. Okay. So tan times A equals. Mate, it's 100. It's 175 mil. At the top, that's a lot. That's a lot of movement. Just from one degree of of change along that wall, that, and then put those two things together. You can squish the walls and you can also change them vertically. You can get very close to those walls, very close to those walls, mate. That I'm saying right now, it's if this thing actually existed in real life, it would be a mechanical marvel. Like, the people would, like, I say the people, yeah, the people, everyone would be like, how? This is amazing. This is the most brilliant thing in the world. Talking about the most brilliant thing in the world, it throws boulders at you. That's right, you heard me. Boulders. Not what? What's that? Oh, I'm gonna have to get the SpongeBob meme now, aren't I?
It's not just a boulder. It's a rock.
No, I'm talking boulders, Spongy. So, I feel like boulders are large. You know, boulders are large things. At minimum, they're 250 mil or 10 inches. But like, they can go a lot bigger. And they're like large. These are large things. Very large things. And I just don't think that things that large would ever get thrown off a climbing wall. Ever. So I'm thinking we'd probably, when he's saying boulders, again, overstatement, probably like non-technical vocabulary, where we're saying probably what it actually is cobbles, which is like between 60 and 250 mil-ish, which is 2.5 to 10 inches-ish. Like, I did some rounding because I can't be bothered to give you the exact numbers, even though they're right in front of me. I'm still that lazy that I like my multiples of 5. When someone ever tells you what a nice number is, it's a multiple of 5. That's a nice number. Just so we're all aware. A nice number is a multiple of 5. And why is a nice number a multiple of 5? Well, we have a base 10 system, which means a multiple of 5 is easy to measure with a tape, especially to millimeters. You're either on the number or halfway between the two numbers. Like, this is what we're saying, you know? Like, now, like, even those, if you're 10 meters up, those things are going to hurt a lot. Like, a lot. But anything thrown off a climbing wall like would kind of hurt a lot. Even if you made them even smaller down to, like, pebbles. That would still hurt. Like, I think probably cobbles is where it sits in a nice even space between boulder, which is huge, and pebbles, which are small and would just, like, be, like, rained on. Like, you would feel a cobble, like a singular cobble. But as previously mentioned, I don't really feel like Chiron cares too much about safety. So I think, like, realistically, they shouldn't be real stones. Like, it's not actual rock that you're throwing at them. Or that getting thrown at them, it's like some, I don't know, fancy foamy Hephaestus-made soft celestial bronze thing. I don't know. Magic exists. We're going to have to imagine things. But, at the same time, I don't think Chiron cares. They fight with real swords. They have a no-maiming policy for capture the flag. Chiron doesn't care about your HSEs. And when I say HSE, I mean your health and safety. HSE is the health and safety body here in the UK. Anyway, moving on to the most visually impactful part of this wall, the lava. And yes, it would be lava. Would it be? Hang on, what's the difference between lava and magma again? We're getting very picky. Magma. One's underground, one's above ground. Which one is which? Yes, okay, cool. So it would be officially lava, not magma. Just wanted to check that. I wanted to be the pernickety weird science guy today. Because that's my job in an episode like this, is to be the weird pernickety science guy. You've got to think about the absolute knob that would go, actually, when you're just trying to have a bit of fun. Because basically, this whole podcast is going, actually, but also going, actually, magic. So, we ignore some things. However, this lava, how the heck does it throw down the side? So, like, we get the quotes, where is it? Sprayed lava, it sprays lava, but it also is just like lava, the climbing wall poured lava. While it was, and just rumbled by itself, and like it was full of lava, and lava pouring down the side. How the heck can lava pour down the side of this thing? This is what's got me the most. I'll be honest with you. The rest of this was just leading up to this moment where I got to go, how the heck can lava pour down the side of a climbing wall while someone's climbing up it? Okay, think about it for like half a second and you'll go, it can't, because how are you supposed to reach the top if what lava is going down? This is the bit that's been like annoyed in my head, and like I've been going, how the heck can this work? How can lava go down while you're trying to go up? Now, what we've come to realize is there are two walls. When we call it the singular climbing wall, really we're talking about one contained machine that has two walls that you can climb that face each other. How many rope hatching points is this? I don't know. We have two walls, so there must be side gaps for entrances. What if there's only one side gap for entrance and the other side is just a column of lava? Now, wouldn't that be cool? Just like it would be like in The Incredibles and that lava wall, but like a bit thinner and only about 4 or 5 meters wide. Probably have to add like 5.5 meters or like 6 meters wide, so you can get all the wibble wobble in there and the crush. And then maybe behind it, to help aggravate the spurting, sometimes some air's just blasted in. Like maybe like they would dial out, they would work out what pressure, what PSI to push this air out. Yeah, push it. Why not? Because I'm talking about pussy lava bubbles and pushing. So push this air out so that it doesn't just like the lava in his face, but like goes like makes a proper lava bubble occur. You know, it just boom, and then you can have Percy getting singed from the lava pusses. That works. That's thought one, and what was initially my only thought. And then I went, hang on, actually, what if it does flow down the wall because there are cracks in the climbing wall, like facade, that the lava goes down? That would also work. And it would also be a lot more scary in earthquake mode, because it means the lava. If you went from fully vertical to leaning out, I don't know which way. Went from fully vertical to like leaning over the top, so you were hanging upside down a bit, the lava would start going vertically down, which would be very scary. Again, another reason I don't think this really works with earthquake mode, but it would make earthquake mode a lot more intense. Because if you go the other way, you're fine, you know? But, like, it would make earthquake mode a lot more tense. And to be honest, earthquake mode itself is an intense thing. Like, what the other things, like the hydraulics, they have, like, halfway up hydraulics to, like, help with the earthquake mode, which would be crazy. But again, we're talking about this, like, marvel of engineering that this lava wall would be. Okay, I'm just telling you. This lava climbing wall would be like a thing that people would be like, oh my god, what the hell? In like a good way, you know? Anyway, back to the lava. So like those are the two options. I feel like it, like the story wants it to be the cracks, but like the practicality means it has to be its own separate wall. Either way, it would look amazing. It would, wouldn't it? Now, like, it would just look amazing. But it would be also so damn hot. Like, so incredibly damn hot. And the wall would just you'd be pelted with heat. No matter where these cracks, if it was on the side, you'd like, I went for a walk once down an estuary. And I was walking one way in the morning. And the sun was hitting me only on one half of my face. The entire walk. It was a good distance. It was about a 25-mile round trip. So, you know, program that into your head. But when I got back to the hotel I was staying at, I looked in the mirror and I had like a 50-50 sunburnt, not sunburnt face. It was not very good. And that if it was like just the side part, that would happen to everyone that climbed that wall. That would be so hot. It would be ridiculous. And like even if like in the cracks, you'd be like climbing around the lava, like your belly would just get like scorched and burnt and like, mate, basically all I'm saying is that they better put on Medea's 50,000 FPS sunscreen before doing absolutely anything on that climbing wall. You know, that's got to be mandatory. And like, at least, you know, come on, Chiron, like a minimum, give them the sun cream. I mean, Percy got scorched and didn't even get ambrosia on his way out. So like, lucky only got his hair singed off. So he must have some protection on. Like, I'm betting it's the 50,000 FPS sunscreen. That's all I'm saying. Instead of chalking up, they sunscreen up. You know? Boom. That, in general, that's all I got to say about this thing. I just feel sorry for the belays at the bottom of the wall, like, that they would have to dodge before they put the autos in. Like, all this stuff pelting on the climbers, some guy at the bottom belaying was also getting pelted by stones. I'm sorry for that, boys. That would be horrendous. I'm sure by now they've got autos in, but, like, autos apparently were 1980s invention. I did a quick Google, so, like, come on. And, like, also, the setters having to climb round, like, if it's the lava cracks, like, do they turn off the lava while they set, you know? Crazy. Anyway, this climbing wall is a beast. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for indulging this theory. If you have any comments on this theory or theories of your own that you want me to discuss, you can email them through to foo.t.mist@gmail.com. Or you can message over on the Instagrams or on the threads at @foo_mist. Make sure to follow the podcast, like the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, whatever you have to do to help get the podcast out there. I've been Owen. Come back next time as we try to see through the mist. Oh! Oh, it landed on my shoes. It hurts my back.